Not gonna lie, Persona 3 Reload is actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. As somebody who thought that Persona 4 was their favorite for a very long time and also played 5, but I hit kind of like a brick wall and just stopped playing overall, I wasn't sure what to expect when it came to Persona 3. Now that I'm playing Persona 3 Reload, I gotta say, I might have to reevaluate to really see if Persona 4 is still my favorite. But before we get into my thoughts on Persona 3 Reload, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as share the channel. It does help out a lot. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of March. Any little bit does help out a lot. So thanks for watching as always. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into my thoughts on Persona 3 Reload. Persona 3 Reload is a remake of Persona 3 Base, which means there is no FES or FES content and there is no P3P or Persona 3 portable content in the game, at least not right now. According to the leaker who leaked Persona 3 Reload, there might be a patch or an update where they do add in the answer content. I don't think that's gonna happen because that would be kind of weird. I did have this debate with somebody, and yeah, that's true. This would be the first time that, you know, Atlus had did something instead of doing a whole brand new game with extra content, right? Kind of like Kingdom Hearts and their Final Mix stuff. They would instead do an update or a DLC. Now again, there's a first time for everything. This couldn't actually be that, but I don't know. They have said plenty of times that there is no plans to add any of the missing content into the game. But going off of that, Persona 3 Reload is just base Persona 3 remade to look a lot prettier, but adding different combat systems that weren't really present in the game, such as Shift. Shift is basically Baton Pass in Persona 5, where when you hit a weakness, you can go ahead and pass your turn to somebody else, another character, and do a move that way, right? A good example is somebody might be weak to like Agi, for example. You can go ahead and use that ability or that move and then pass it to somebody that you need to use, was it Garu, I believe, which is the wind element, and you can go ahead and continue that way so you can do an all-out attack. This is something that was really introduced in Persona 5 that 4 nor 3 had in that game. Not the all-out attack, but the baton pass, right? And that's an extra quality of life feature that, hey, you know, it's pretty cool. It's nice to have something like that. And really, I think they're just going off the popularity of Persona 5. Persona 5 was pretty much the most popular Persona game that there was, before that being Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. But Persona 5 was very popular. I think they wanted people who played 5 to still be, you know, be in a familiar spot when it came to Persona 3, because there's a lot of different things that Persona 3 had that 5 didn't. A good example, and it comes to like the negative side of things, was the fatigue system. Again, as somebody who's never played Persona 3 original, I did not know this system was there, and I had talked with people who love Persona 3 and have told me about it, that the fatigue system could get kind of annoying. Basically, when you go into Tartarus and you start going through the Tartarus, which is basically a giant tower, and you kind of have to climb up there, your party members, including you, will get tired over time. If you get tired, your stats will actually decrease, and your party members will also just leave and say that they can't do it anymore and just go back to the first floor, where you would have to go ahead and add different party members to kind of continue the grind. And that was an element that you would have to balance on top of, you know, going to school or doing any studying or anything like that in the real world. So you really had this constraint like time frame to explore Tartarus in terms of leveling up. Sometimes you can go to Tartarus, they can be tired, you go back to the real world the next day, you go and you're like, yeah, I'm still tired, I won't follow you into Tartarus this time. Well, guess what? It's an extra day that you're without that party member, and it can make your party really unbalanced. It can have the main character super high and your party members very low, which would then in turns complicate a lot of battles because you have such a big battle difference. Not sure if you remember old school RPGs, but have you ever been in that moment where you have a really strong character but all your other characters are weak and they just keep dying, and most of your turns are spent on either healing them or reviving them? Yeah, you could have gotten that instance in OG Persona 3. With Persona 3 Reload, that system's just gone pretty much, like, it's not there. The dialogue is there, for whatever reason, but the actual mechanic is not there. Similar to Persona 5, you can just go ahead and explore Tartarus, and if you want to, you can explore all 20 levels or whatever the cap is on that said, segment of the game if you wanted to, which I thought was kind of cool and more streamlined. The older I get, the harder it is for me to go ahead and basically just continue going through and just, how can I put it? The more complicated systems are, it kind of starts over time turning me off, especially now where there's so many great games to play. With them not having that fatigue system, I think it does help out a lot because there's less stress and you're kind of okay to just explore Tartarus however you want, which is pretty neat. Also, balancing basically your job as well as the different things you need like academics, charm, and so forth seems a little bit easier as well. I believe the original Persona 3 there was no jobs at all, so in order to make money you had to go ahead and just sell whatever you got on Tartarus, which would make things very, very difficult. Money, I won't say it's hard to come by, it's definitely not hard to come by, but when you want to buy something, they're super pricey. It's not like a Final Fantasy game where you go to one town, something might be like 1,000 gil, and then you go to the next town, you can get a more powerful weapon for like 1,200 gil. No, this is like, yeah, you can get this sword here, this is like 900, and then you go back and there's the next tier up. It's like, oh yeah, this one here is going to be like 6,500, and you're like, whoa, that is a huge jump in terms of price point. That's kind of how the weapons are and the equipment is in Persona. There is quite a huge price jump, but being able to work and make money that way, if you do like the cafe one, for example, which is one I use a lot, sometimes you'll get bonuses, so you'll get extra money, you'll get a raise and all that other good stuff on top of being able to sell the stuff you get at Tartarus. That does help out a lot and just makes it a more quality of life feature, just easing the pain of having to explore Tartarus while also balancing the real world, which is pretty neat. Even the managing the party system has been pretty much streamlined for, I would say, like modern, not modern aesthetics, but more modern like mechanics, I guess you can say. Basically, you can actually go ahead and mess with your party members outside of Tartarus if you want to right there and then, where in original Persona 3 you had to kind of do that while you're in Tartarus, so you'll buy stuff and not even know if this is stronger than what you already have, and being able to manage that. So it was a lot more stuff going on. Another thing that's different from OG Persona 3 is being able to control your party members. In Persona 3 Reload, again, it's more streamlined. You can go ahead and control every single party member on their turn, where in Persona 3 you only control the MC, and yeah, it's good luck. Basically, you're hoping your party member doesn't do anything stupid and kills you, or heals yourself when you're already at max HP, or do something dumb like that. So I am glad that they did a lot of these quality of life stuff. Now there is a little bit of a downside, because I feel like the way Persona 3 was originally intended to play and the way it was originally made is it was so fine-tuned, where these mechanics like the fatigue system, all that, were there on purpose to make sure that the game wasn't too easy. Now that those systems aren't there, I can tell you that the game does feel very easy. I am blowing by this quicker than any Persona game. With Persona 4, I feel like there was definitely a lot more strategy. 5 as well, like there's a lot more balancing that you needed to do, where 3, even though those hurdles are not there anymore and there are quality of life stuff, just doesn't feel like they balance the game too much, meaning that the enemies are too easy. So I'm going through Tartarus floors like it's nothing. I'm getting tons of money and all these things, which I get it. Like, to me personally, it's not a bad thing, because again, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of time constraints in my life where I can only play games at certain times, and this kind of helps out with me going through and being able to beat the game. But on the flip side of it, there's not that much of a challenge, and sometimes when there's not a challenge, you can fall off and get bored of the game. So it does seem very easy so far where I'm at. I haven't completed the game. I am maybe, I don't know, like I'm like 20 or 30 hours in, something like that. And yeah, like it so far I haven't really had a challenge. I've been going through, I think I died once, and that was just because rather than me using any of my personas or using any ability, I wanted to be more conservative, and I just kept pressing the attack button to kind of save my SP. Well, because I did that, one of my characters died, so I had to go ahead, and use like a life bomb, I believe it's called, to go ahead and resurrect them. But other than that, like, yeah, there really hasn't been anything that's given me a challenge when it comes to Persona 3 Reload, which can be a negative. I haven't tried hard mode, but I do know some friends who are playing on hard mode are still saying that it's still easy even on hard mode. But other than that, me personally, I'm really enjoying Persona 3 Reload. Honestly, I am reevaluating and wondering, do I really like Persona 4 as much as I thought I did? I'm pretty sure I do. There's a lot of things going on in Persona 4 that I personally like. I like the main cast. I do think the main cast of Persona 4 are great. Really just the whole aesthetics of it. It's just, I don't know, it's just something about Persona 4. It could be biased because it was my first Persona game, but a lot of it that's going on in there I really do like compared to 3 so far and compared to where I was at in 5. Even though 5 does have a lot of mechanics I do like, and of course the aesthetics in terms of menu design and everything are pretty much perfect, and I do like that 3 Reload did take those same aesthetics and just pretty much turn them blue, where your menu design in Persona 3 Reload are just amazing. Man, Atlus makes some of the best menus out there. I do like a lot of that going on, but Persona 3 Reload is just, I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. I've been playing it on my Steam Deck too, exclusively, so it runs perfect. Shout out to Valve because they've done so many updates to fix it. When I first played Persona 3 Reload, I was having issues because reflections are ray trace only, so in certain parts in Tartarus and in bigger areas, like the frame rate would dip like pretty hard. I've been playing the game at 40 FPS and it would go down to 20 FPS. With the most recent update, I've been able to play it at 60 FPS almost no problem, even with a TDP limit, which is pretty great. So they've done a lot of work in terms of making it run flawlessly on the Steam Deck, so huge shout out to Valve for doing that. Yeah, and I highly recommend Persona 3 Reload. If you've never played a Persona game, this is probably a good entry point as well, as it is one of the easier ones so far at least. So it's very good to kind of understand the whole mechanics on how the game works, what's the functionality, what every ability is, and so forth. And then I think you can move to like 4 and 5, which are a little bit harder in terms of like gameplay and everything else. But yeah, these are my thoughts on Persona 3 Reload. What do you think about it? Honestly, like I said, I'm very happy I got the game. I'm super excited to continue playing the game and eventually finish it. And hopefully we do get the missing content later on in, a DLC or some type of free update or anything like that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Once again, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of March. Every bit does count, so I'll share the channel. That does help out a lot. My name is James. I'll catch you guys next time.